Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. It is actually recycling night on the Pete Mezzetti Show, so we're going to talk about the task force in the town of Old Saybrook and what's going on. With me to discuss the task force is Diane Stover, who's a member of the task force. Diane, welcome. How are you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
And Chairman Barry O'Neill. Hello. Hello, sir. How are you, buddy?
Good, Pete. Nice to see you.
Welcome. You too. You too. So, Barry and Diane, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about the task force and how it got formed.
I think Carl started the task force, and I was always interested in it, and Diane was interested.
Okay.
So we kind of said Carl was looking for somebody, so we joined. There was like four of us:
Okay.
Benny, Diane, myself, and Bob. And I can't think of Bob's last name.
Bob Samick.
Bob Samick.
Okay.
So Bob was on and then he had some issues, so he got off, and we just got a new member named John Lundeen. So it's really just a volunteer task
And we had
force.
Jim, too.
And we had Jim Terrian, who was on the transfer station.
Yep.
And he does one of the shows on here. So
He does.
He was really excited about it. He worked at the transfer station as a part-time, so he was kind of motivating us, and we all got together and said, okay, what can we do? So we started looking at things to do.
Yeah.
And we started with paint recycling. Well, paint's kind of easy because paint was producer responsibility. So when you buy a can of paint, you pay to get rid of it.
Yes.
The nice thing about it is we collect the paint, they actually pay us a little bit to pick the paint up and recycle it. So that was a good point. So then we went on to, one of the things we went on to is food recycling, and Diane will pick that up and tell you where we are on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So because we pay to get rid of our trash by weight,
Right.
we wanted to remove what's really heavy, which is food waste.
Yes.
So what we started is this food waste recycling program, and this is a beautiful countertop recycling bin
Okay.
that the town paid $20 for, and we are asking citizens at the transfer station, if they want one, to pay $10. So basically sharing the cost with the town.
Okay.
And this is, like, this sits on my counter,
Okay.
and I put all food waste, I put coffee grounds, I put chicken bones, and what I do, just to keep it kind of clean, is I line it with newspaper.
Yes.
And you can do, or you can line it with paper towels if you want. And then you take this
Yeah.
to the transfer station and you dump it in the blue bins.
Okay.
And you can dump it, including the paper. So it can take a little bit of soiled paper or paper towels, that's fine to put that in the bin as well. And then it gets carted off, and we do pay a little bit for the trash to get, the food waste to get picked up there. But then it gets turned into either compost or fuel.
It goes to Quantum Fuel.
Okay.
And Blue Earth is the guys that pick it up. Now, if you're like me,
Yeah.
I have a garden. So
Yes.
I don't put my chicken bones and stuff in there, but I put my vegetables in there.
Right.
And then I go and I have a compost out in my backyard, which serves the same purpose.
Right.
It really, if you start to use this, and we're going to give you this, Pete.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so when you start to use that, you'll realize that your bag that goes to the transfer station is now light and smaller than it was before.
That
It's
is-
amazing.
It
Is
is
it?
amazing.
Yeah.
Is it?
And I will say, we started getting just 2 blue bins from Blue Earth at the
Okay.
transfer station.
Sure.
And now we are definitely up to 3, which means we're filling 3 big bins a week, which is great because all of that's getting removed
Right.
from the trash that we have to pay a lot of money for
Right.
to get rid of.
And after Thursday, we might have to go to 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I don't think turkey bones are going to be fitting in.
Well, probably not the whole turkey, but you can fit them in the transfer station.
Right.
And bring them over there. So,
That's right.
and we've had people that said, what we do is we get big, we put them in our freezer. So if you fill that up,
Right.
and you're not going for another few days, you don't want it hanging around.
No.
Even though the filter's here, it doesn't smell. It will pick up some fruit flies. So you have to be careful. If it picks up fruit flies, take the filter out, clean it, and put it back in, you'll be fine. But just be aware that that could happen.
Right.
But a lot of people just dump them out and take them to the transfer station. So.
Right. Now, these are available at the transfer station if you want to get one?
They're
or-
available at Town Hall right now.
Okay.
What we did is we set up two Saturdays we went in.
Yes.
And we sold
And
them.
one Thursday.
Yeah, and we sold them there just for people coming in.
Okay.
Of course, the best day is when we had some young kids helping us.
Yeah,
And they
that's
sold
right.
everything.
Of course.
They asked everybody and they sold a bunch, but
And we put it out on Facebook when we're going to do one of those days
Okay.
where we're going to be at the transfer station with these, and that usually gets a pretty good response, so the word gets out there.
Now, how's the response on the program been so far? Pretty good?
Yes, actually, so we had purchased an initial 100, and we did sell all of those.
Yes.
So now we're on our second 100, which is great.
Right.
Because the more we can remove from the stream, the better.
We only have 40 left right now.
Wow.
So we think we're making headway. It's little incremental things we're doing.
Right.
The other thing we've done is we started to focus on batteries.
Okay.
Because anybody that has anything has batteries.
Yes.
Phones, whatever it is. And where do they usually end up? They put them in the trash.
Right.
So we've got bins in the library, the Kate, town hall, and in the schools to collect these batteries. And we take them and put them in one section. Now, a company called Take Two takes the batteries. But the initial thing about these is 98% of the battery is reusable, recyclable.
Okay.
And those are all minerals that you don't want to keep mining. So it's important that we take the batteries out because they're dangerous in the environment and get them out of the stream. So that was another issue that we brought along.
Wow.
And there's a bin at the transfer station too,
Yeah.
for a collection bin
Yes,
for batteries.
yeah, we take them
okay.
from there to the transfer station. And it's a big barrel.
Is it?
Yeah, so
Probably
if
one of the
people
big-
want to get rid of their batteries, they can bring to the transfer station. They have those batteries for your common use, and we also have batteries for cars that we separate out, so.
Right, the industrial batteries
Yeah.
or batteries for like your lawnmower.
Well, yeah, they do take those, yes.
They do, right?
Yes, they do.
There you go. So tell us a little bit about the task force and what other fun things you guys do.
Fun things?
Well, informative things.
No, we're trying to research everything. Our next program now is to probably get signs so that people know what goes there, where it goes. Because we have down in the bottom,
Yep.
we have this, what do we call it?
What, the take or leave?
Take it or leave it table. But it was a, what do they call it? The Rotary Club had built it for them.
Okay.
So when you bring things in that are slightly used, you put them there, and anybody comes in and wants to use it, they pick it up and take it out. So I've seen good bikes go through there, nice chairs, or,
little
chinaware, whatever it is that you get in
things.
household stuff.
Wow.
And it's all free to the person who picks it up.
Right.
The only problem we have is people start to just dump things there.
Oh, no.
So what we ask people to do is don't use something that's soiled, that's ruined. Don't just leave it there, because nobody's going to want that. Take it up to the bulky waste, pay your fee, and get
Right.
rid of it.
Get it out of here.
It's called the commodity exchange.
There we
Aha.
go.
There you go.
I was groping for that word, but
I was gonna say.
it was put in by the Rotary Club. So that's a fun thing, and people enjoy that a lot. So we're working on that. There's like 19 different bins, Pete, that we separate things out to. So
And God,
no, our goal is to reduce the amount of tonnage that we put into the landfills or we get through. So we're trying to do everything we can because we pay by the ton. Last year, C&D, we paid $116,000 to get rid of commercial and demolition materials.
wow.
I don't know what we took in. We certainly didn't take in what we just spent to get rid of, so.
No.
But it's a convenience for the taxpayer, so it's a good thing.
And I'm sure now, as far as everything goes, it's probably a very,
Yeah.
the program is very utilized.
Now, the fun thing is the parade.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of, go ahead, Diane. Tell us. I guess we have a parade coming up.
Well, we do, the Torchlight Parade.
Yes.
And a couple years ago, we started, and it was Barry's idea, I think, to put a float in the parade from the transfer station, basically for the Waste and Recycling Task Force.
Okay.
Just in a way to, again, create awareness of what we do. I mean, we're volunteers, but what we do for the town to try to create an awareness for everyone to recycle. And so we've done some pretty creative trees. And this year we're thinking of another creative recycled tree.
We had the sleigh, one of the Anthony that works at the transfer station.
Yep.
Wanted to be Santa Claus. So
Okay.
I had an old sleigh because we had to beef it up a little bit for him. And he
Right.
got to sit in the sleigh. We had a big sign outside that said, "'Tis the season to recycle."
There you go.
And then they had a big tree on the truck with cans hanging off of it, like, waste cans.
Yep.
So it was just the way to do it. We had a little music that went with it.
Yeah.
The 12 Wastes of Christmas.
I've heard about the 12 Wastes of Christmas. I
And it
have.
was on the speaker. The unfortunate part is the parade is so noisy that you don't really get to hear
Exactly.
it. So it's, but it was fun. They enjoyed it. I think it's more about getting everybody else excited about it than us doing it, but it's fun.
So you're doing it again this year?
Well, I talked to Bill Claffey, who's the acting director, and he said he would do it. So
Okay.
I'm just putting things together. We'll get together and decorate the sleigh, put it on there. I won't be there this year, but I will help set it up.
Oh, no?
So
Now let's talk about the way we get glass out of the single stream process.
we don't.
You don't? Okay.
Well, I should
You'd
say
like
that.
to.
Yeah. Right now, glass goes into the single stream.
Yep.
And the people that get the single stream, then they separate it out and go someplace.
Yep.
But the point is, glass is very heavy.
Yeah.
So I've looked on a couple of YouTube videos and videos around researching, and I think if we could just take the glass and smash it, and I saw where a guy had a pickup truck full of glass.
Mm-hmm.
When he smashed it up, it fit in a bucket like that.
Real.
Because all it is sand. All glass is sand, so when you smash it up, it's sand and some of the labels. Now, to refine it more, the big places they screen it and they do all kinds of other things with it, but I'm thinking if we could just smash it, and some places use that in the road base because it doesn't absorb moisture. So when you have tar over the top in the road base, they use some of that for road base material.
I didn't know that.
But we need to do a lot more research on that before we figure out what we're doing with it. But we're just trying to get weight out of that system because we do pay by the ton.
Okay. Would you guys mind sticking around for another segment?
Huh?
Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
We're done?
No.
Oh.
No. We'll be right back.
Oh, we're on a break. Okay.
We'll be right back.
Smart TVs and streaming services have taken over the television industry. VSC TV is proud to announce our presence on Apple TV and Roku to make watching your favorite shows even easier. You can access this service by downloading the Cablecast ScreenWeave app. Then choose Valley Shore Community TV from the list of channels. Select VSC TV Live to watch our channel in full HD. Or pick a show from our on-demand video library. VSC TV is your local Connecticut Midshore Valley digital connection.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Diane and Barry from the Old Saybrook Task Force and Recycling Committee. Guys, welcome back.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. So, thanks, Diane. Diane, tell us, how did you get involved with this committee?
So I moved back to Connecticut in 2013.
Okay.
And moved to Old Saybrook after living in other shoreline towns, and I loved the town, so I wanted to get involved.
All right.
And I would go to the transfer station with my trash on a weekly basis, and I would always wonder why, at that point I had to take old paint to a paint store because they didn't do paint recycling.
Right.
And it just seemed like and batteries someplace else, and everything. I was trying to recycle responsibly, but it seemed like it was so difficult. So I met with Carl and said, gee, and I have a background in business and plus in education. So I said, I'd really like to help to try to make the transfer station more user-friendly.
Okay.
And including knowing what bin to put things in, and even to know what is recyclable versus what isn't, because I know that I was putting a lot in my trash that really could have gone in a different bin. So that's kind of why I got involved, and I feel like it's been worthwhile because I kind of think of it as peeling back the onion. Like
Right.
we've made you know, sometimes like Barry will say, we're not moving fast enough on getting things done. But at the same point, we've already made, I think, great strides in trying to get things out of the waste stream. So that was all my motivation, and it's happening slowly, but we're doing it.
Well, good. Now, what types
She's
of...
always so positive, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Now, what types of items are recyclable?
Almost everything is. But one of the things we didn't mention is
Yes.
clothes. So we have
Yes.
bins for clothes.
Okay.
And there's a company called Bay State that takes whatever clothes we have, and they actually pay us.
Okay.
Now, again, a very small fee. We're not going to run the transfer station on the fee where you get paid.
Okay.
But they do take the clothes and the shoes, and they recycle them, and they put them someplace else. Also, is Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Goodwill.
Okay.
And Goodwill, and I want to say the Bay State bin, because I actually, they do require you to put things in bags, and and as you're leaving the transfer station, it's the last one on the left. So there's the Goodwill and the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, but the last one is the Bay State,
Okay.
and they also take other textiles, like I have some old curtains that are in my car right now in a bag that I have to drop off there. So old comforters, things like that. So not just clothes. There's a lot, and shoes, which means that is weight that comes out of our trash, which is great.
And clothes are heavy.
Yes.
Now, there's a company down in Virginia I was seeing someplace that just started, and they recycle all materials and turn it back into cloth.
Wow.
They just,
that's cool.
it's just, I don't know what the process was, but it was on TV, you know. So they do that. Speaking about that, the state of
Yes.
Connecticut recycles 200,000 mattresses a year.
Wow.
Again, that's another producer responsibility. So when you buy a mattress,
Right.
you pay another $10.
Yep.
But then it's taken away, and they do recycle them. There's a place in Norwich that actually recycles them. Takes the springs out, takes the wood out, takes the cloth out. So,
And there's-
when we see people recycling things, that's good. That's what we should be. We shouldn't be chucking it into the ground and burying it. It's because we need the material anyway. Our natural resources are drying up, so maybe it's a good time to reuse stuff.
Now, do you have to be a resident of the town of Old Saybrook to participate in this program?
Yes. Yes, but you can still have that can, Pete.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say, now, what if your town doesn't participate in the program or have a program like this in a surrounding town?
Every town has their own program.
Okay.
I mean, the state's trying to get that, so it's regional, trying to get things going, but it's kind of like recycling the cans.
Right.
It's not, if you try to recycle a can, tell me how successful you are when you go to the Stop and Shop or Big Y to put those cans in,
Right.
and how long it takes you. And pretty soon people say, you know what, it's not worth it.
No.
And they just chuck them back into the single stream thing again. So they've gone to 10 cents. We'll see if that is going to change the meter, but unfortunately, they've already figured out how to take 5-cent cans from Rhode Island and turn them in Connecticut for 10.
Really?
Yeah. It's called theft.
So-
And the state's looking out for that, but the cans aren't marked
Right.
what state they come from. So, and matter of fact, in Connecticut, if you keep your 5-cent cans until January 1st, when they start doing it in
Right.
January, they're now worth 10 cents, even if you only paid 5 cents for them.
I did not know that.
Well, I didn't know it until I saw
Yeah.
it the other day.
Oh, then there you
Yeah.
go.
So a lot of it is, we're just trying to stay abreast of what's going on and see what we can help the town do and not do. Bill Claffey's doing a great job in there trying to make things happen.
Okay.
And it's a step at a time. It's just, they have another job to do besides just the
Yeah.
transfer station.
I haven't met Bill yet.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he came to one of our meetings, which was great.
I did.
The one thing I was going to say is if you do live in another town, like I know Old Lyme, they have a waste and recycling task force very similar to ours, because we actually met jointly once. But if you live in another town and you're not sure, I would go on your town website and see, and then volunteer to get involved. Because really, that's how the task force got started in Old Saybrook,
Right.
is people just volunteered and said, we can help.
The one thing where they do combine is hazardous waste. And they do it, but they don't do it every week. It's like they'll have a schedule out this year. It's maybe in July it'll be in Lyme, and then some other month it'll be in Essex. But they do have for hazardous waste because people don't know what to do with it.
They usually have.
They'd like to put it in a plastic bag someplace and just throw it someplace
Exactly.
and say, I don't have it. But if you have a place where they take hazardous waste, insect sprays,
Yep.
all that stuff is taken care of. But that's done by regionalization,
Yep.
so that's a good thing.
They usually do one in Clinton in I want to say April or May once the weather gets warmer.
And for anybody from any town
Yep.
can bring it to that
That's
place.
right.
Yes.
And that's the key.
That is
So
correct.
you want to take care of we want to take care of the environment. That's what our whole point.
Now, once you go to the transfer station and you dump your trash, where does all the garbage? Where's it all go? Does it go? Is there a
Well,
regional
we're
landfill?
paying by the ton to get rid of it. So
Okay.
one of them goes single stream. I think goes to New Britain.
Okay.
And I've never been there. I heard they dump it out and they separate. Single stream would be cardboard, paper. They try to separate all that out.
Plastic.
And metal,
Yep.
aluminum cans, glass, and they'll do that. And then the other one goes to Basra, which they burn.
Okay.
Because they used to burn in Hartford, and they don't do that anymore.
No.
Because that's shut. So that's where they go. But if those plants close, then you're back in sending out of state to bury it someplace.
Right.
So.
Which seems absolutely crazy, inefficient, and that's why the more we can minimize what is truly trash,
Yeah.
the better off we all are.
We think because we're not burying it in Connecticut, it's okay, but you're burying it someplace in
It's
the United
terrible.
States,
Right.
in mines or whatever. So it's a big business. It's expensive.
Now, what is truly trash? What differentiates trash from?
I'm trying to think of what goes in my wastebasket.
Well, you get papers that you screw them up and throw them in,
Right.
like wrappers and that kind of stuff, and paper towels and
Yep.
all those things you throw in, because you're not going to put those in the recyclables.
No.
Those are the things newspapers you'll put in there, cardboard you'll put in there. But think about the things you open up.
Eggshells.
Eggshells go right in
Go
here.
right in there.
okay. Oh, yeah, that's
what
right.
I was going to say is people that do the Keurig,
Yes.
that have those, that don't use the refillable ones,
Yep.
all those Keurig pods,
Mm-hmm.
those go in trash. I mean, I use my refillable, so that's not me, but I'm trying to think of other things that go in.
Well, anything you buy that's in a plastic, you cut it open.
Right.
Where does that
Exactly,
go?
that's,
Yep.
yeah.
So you start to look at it, but when you take the food scraps out, it makes a big difference, because you're mixing food scraps with all that other stuff, and it's just terrible.
Right.
The weight difference is unbelievable for me since I started using my countertop.
Is it?
It is. You just would not believe it until you do it. And once you put all of your food scraps, and especially before I go to the transfer station and I look in the refrigerator and, what doesn't look so good, any leftovers that I haven't eaten, I put it right in there. And then the bag that I'm taking to the transfer station, my trash bag,
Yes.
it's just unbelievable how light it is. I would say it's probably at least just a quarter of what it used to be in weight.
If you were using 2 bags, you'll use one
Right.
right away. They'll cut it right
Yeah,
down.
yeah. And that one bag is going to be a lot lighter.
Yeah. Now, after Thanksgiving, your turkey carcass is not going to fit in that container.
Well, if you break it up, you could.
Well, right.
And,
But
and
the-
that's so a lot of people, and what's fun when we do the sessions at the transfer station,
Yeah.
and a lot of people already, even without this, they already do something with their food waste,
Right.
maybe their compost bin, or they were bringing it to the blue bins.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has their own method of how they do it. So like for me, I have a backup container when this gets full.
Okay.
That's actually an old chock full of nuts
Yep, coffee
coffee thing.
can, sure.
And what I like about that is that it has a perfect seal, so that I don't have to worry about any bugs or anything. And,
Okay.
and so I keep that in the garage when I fill that, and then and I can even dump from there into that. So people have their methods for bigger things
Right.
too that don't fit. in
I know
that.
people have the 5-gallon paint cans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
With the plastic ones with the plastic top, they put those on, or you have a 5-gallon can that has a screw on top.
Mm-hmm.
So those cans serve the purpose for big stuff. A 5-gallon bucket would be fine if it's got a sealable top on it.
Right. Now, one thing we didn't talk about during the first segment is what's the capacity of the can? How much can the can fit?
It's
1.3.
1.3 gallons,
Okay.
I think. Yeah. It's the thing that's nice. It's actually, it holds more than my old chock full of nuts bin.
Okay.
I do know that. And I like it that it is pretty deep.
Okay.
So that you can just, like, what I do is hit stuff on the, just to get it to the bottom.
Yep.
When I do that. But it holds a pretty lot.
Now, should you put a liner in the can, or
See,
is it
and
just
that's
ready to
where-
go as is?
I use it as is, because
Okay.
I just take it to my
Right.
garden.
And I line it with newspaper.
Gotcha.
And then this way to me, it just defeats the
You can
purpose
put-
of
There are
using-
bags you can buy that
Right.
fit into that are plastic, that are biodegradable, that you can put it in. You
Yeah.
throw that whole bag into this Blue Earth thing.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's actually a bag made for food scraps.
Right, as long as it's biodegradable, and they do sell them. But to me, since it's newspaper, the newspaper works, a paper towel works,
Yep.
and then I just get it home and I just rinse it out.
I was going to say just throw it under the sink,
Exactly.
soap, water,
Yeah.
Yep.
clean it out, rinse it out. You're good to
also,
go.
Yeah, we also have a big brush machine that grinds up all the brush and all the old wood.
Oh, cool.
And what Bill Claffey's asked people to do is when you do construction and demolition,
Mm-hmm.
if you have clean wood, not painted, 2x4s or whatever, put it back there to be ground up rather than going to the C&D mix. But he doesn't want painted wood going back there where they're cutting it up.
No.
So if you have scraps of 2x4 and some 2x4s you're taking down or clean wood, it should go in that C&D bill, take it out of the C&D bill and put it back in our grinder. So we have,
Well, guys, we're out of time, so before we say goodnight, I want to thank you guys for both coming down, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Pete, we want to thank you very much.
Thank
for having us.
you.
Guys. Thanks, guys. On behalf of Diane and Barry, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.